Okay, I have here the Bowley 543 padlock. It's also known as a dual fork lock because of the shape of the key. And it has an interesting operation. You first insert the key and turn it just 45 degrees, and that aligns the sleeve with the pins. Then you push it in, which then sets all those pins. And then you can continue turning, and that noise you just heard is the ball bearings releasing the shackle, so that now the lock is open. And then there's a stop, so it goes up to that, that perpendicular point right there. So anyways, the key is retained at this point. So I need to lock it back up. I need to reverse, put the shackle back in. Here go the ball bearings, push out slightly, and then turn the sleeve so it aligns with the keyway, and we're back out. And we're locked. Okay, so of course the idea is to do that without the key. I can put some, describe in more detail the tools I'm using, but I just want you to see here that there's 5 tools kind of mashed together here. They have identical pick heads on them, pick tips, and so this will work for a lock of any bitting. It's pretty generic. But to get started, I'm gonna kind of hold these in the shape of the warding and can insert it in, pushing until I get to the back, and then just very gently turn until I find that I'm wrapping around the sleeve of the warding. Okay, and I've done it. So now I can take these binder clips off, and I can work these 5 tools independently. So there's a, I guess you can see easier on the key, there's 2 sides. There's a short side that has 4 pins and a long side that has 5 pins. So on the short side, this pick here is now positioned between 1 and 2. This one between 3 and 4. On the long side, this one is 1 and 2, 3 and 4, and then 4 and 5. Okay, so all those are in the right place. I need one more tool though, the tension. And this is tricky. I need to reach the core all the way in the back, but I need to go between all these picks. So I got this wire, it's bent in 4 places. And I'm gonna slide it down the sleeve at an angle, and I'm going to try to get behind these. So I'm going to pull these forward, not quite behind. I'm stuck now on them. Might have to try that again. Yeah, let's try again. Make sure the picks are still in the right place. They are. All right, so one more time. Angled, so I slide down the sleeve. Wait till I get to the very back before I try to turn, and then weasel behind these picks. There we go. It's a little bit better. Okay, so let's see what that did. So now I feel the tension on the core. On the long side, all of my 3 picks are free. On the short side, this is inevitable because I'm resting in the warding. I'm really pressed up against this bottom one, and it's not able to function fully. But that's okay. What I'm going to be doing while I pick is I'm going to be moving the pivot point with my index finger like this while applying tension with the thumb, and then you see that allows me to freely move these picks. And so I can toggle the pivot point as I need to. And finally, I'm just going to put a rubber pad so I don't hurt my finger, because I'm going to be doing that a lot. Okay, Now we can start picking this thing. I'm going to start on the short side, so get that pivot point back to before. Let's see, pin 1 is right here. Okay, I set pin 1, 2 feels fine. 4 I pushed in, but it's not setting. And 3 is definitely not ready yet. Okay, so on my first pass on the short side, I really just set pin 1, maybe 2. Okay, so now sliding the pivot point back. Now I'm going to go to the long side. There's 1, 2 is binding. Okay, there's a click on 2. Try, it didn't feel real. I might have just slipped off. It doesn't feel set. It's definitely binding. Maybe as good as it's going to get for now. Let me keep going. Right, that was a click on 4. 3's not ready yet. 4's not really staying. And 5 is certainly not ready yet. Get back to 1. That might be okay. So let's try back to the other side. Need to kind of go back and forth here. Okay. So we're on the short side. 1 seems like it stayed put. Same with 2. But now let's see if we can get any more play on 4. Yes. Okay. Changing up my tension a little bit here. Still doesn't seem to be staying put, but seems like a little bit of progress. So just going to be patient. We'll go back and forth with each of the sides. Okay, back to the long side. 2 I think might have dropped. 1 is still fine. Yeah, 2 dropped. Reset 2. I don't think 4 was ever really in there, but it feels a little sturdier now. Check on 3. 3's kind of starting to bind. Okay, movement on 3. And then how about 5? Still not close. Okay. And 2 is really not staying put. So I still don't think the short side is set completely. So back here to the short side. 1 is a really good, and I think 1's a max lift because I'm literally just rotating the pick right on top of the pin, and I can feel just the tip of it sticking out. Yeah, 1 and 2 are both set. So the problem is more in the back on the short side. Yeah, 4 is still not set. So let's apply a little bit more tension, see if we can't get that to bind. I think that worked. Yeah, that was a good sound. And now I'm going to do the same thing. 4 is definitely a high lift too, so I'm able to rotate the pick and feel a little bit sticking out there. And then, oh, just click on 3. Okay. Still not sure the short side is set, but getting much closer. Back to the long side. 3's binding. Yeah, both 2 and 3 like to fall out. Got 3 back again. Okay. Actually, two might be good. Yeah. Okay. Long side's feeling better. I'm still not convinced the short is set. So let's revisit. Yeah, 1 and 2 are definitely set. There's another click on 4. Or am I just kind of, you know, tolerances are pretty tight. And so I wonder if maybe 4 isn't a full max lift and it's just meant to stick out, because kind of jiggling that tip feels like it's set. Ooh, you hear that? Okay. I think I just knocked into 3, and I think that sound is the whole short side opening up and setting. So you just verify that. So I don't know if you can tell, but this is my pivot point. I'm applying pretty serious tension with the thumb, and I'm doing that so I can really test. 1 and 2 are set. 4 and 3 are set. Yes, the short side is picked. All right, so hopefully we can keep that intact while we work on the long side. Part of the problem here is when you work on one side, the other picks are definitely affected, and so now these are all kind of jammed up. So I'm going to start by just trying to get some space to work with here without pushing the tension wire away. All right, so 1 is definitely set. 2 feels pretty good. 4 feels pretty good. That's not 4. What is that? I'm pushing forward on that pick. That's no, I'm sorry. That's 4. Yeah, that's 4. Okay, and then okay, 3 keeps it popped out again. Okay, so 3 needs work. And how's 5 doing? Not too bad. Might just be 3. Let's double check before I really go at 3. I'm also concerned 2 might be. Nah. Let me try 3. I think that's the next one, binding the hardest. I'm really stuck, huh? Okay, so the challenge here is I got pretty high tension because I'm nervous of dropping. But in order to get 3, I'm going to need to rotate just below it and try to just kind of catch the side. And I'm going to need to release some tension. Yeah, that might have been enough. Get it? That might have been enough. Okay. Yeah. What's concerning me is 5 doesn't feel like it's binding cleanly. Okay, let's start at the top again. 1 is good. 2 keeps on popping out. All right, so how about I'll push 2 in, I'll apply even more tension, like that. And then 4 is still fine. And can I get at 5 any better now? Not really. So that leaves 3. No, but 3 is fine. I can't seem to find what's holding us up here. I mean, I was pretty confident, but just for kicks, check that other side. Maybe something popped out. No, the short side's really good. Okay, so what is it then? Well, one thing that's possible is I'm just trying too hard, you know, holding on for too much tension. I mean, I can see, if I look at the short side, you can see how much the tension wrench is twisting those picks. It's pretty extreme. So let me try backing off a little bit, actually. And I'm worried most about 2 dropping, so let me just play with that for a bit. Okay. And 4 appears to be set. 1 is set. 1, 4, okay. 2 is suspect. 3 keeps on popping out. So, might be 5. Just gonna release tension a little bit more, see if I can't. And it's difficult because in the back there, I'm really knocking into the tension wire while I'm trying to feel for pin state. So it's hard to separate those out sometimes. But, I mean, I don't want to go much lighter than that in terms of tension. So let me try another pass. Yeah, 2's starting to slip out at that level of tension. I mean, it's possible I overset something here. Maybe I overset too. Let me let up a little bit. If I overset too, I would feel more springiness here rather than this nice jiggle. There it is. Okay. Super interesting. So what was happening there is oh, I'm not actually, okay. Not actually able to turn the core all the way, but I'm unlocked. So we'll fix that in a second, but just to explain why that took so long. 2, which I believe is serrated, it kept on slipping out a bit. And so what I had to do was release tension enough to get it at exactly the right place and then hold down super tight so it would stay there. and that ultimately allowed me to get, I think 5 was holding it up. So that's why it took me a little bit of time to figure out. But okay, anyways, let's see if we can get this the rest of the way, because there's more work to do, given how complex this lock is. So you can see the core is turned, but this this wire, which is, you know, touching the core in the back, is not able to turn it further so that, oh, I just got it. Okay, good. Things can get pretty tight here when you're turning, but I was able to turn it enough so that the ball bearing's disengaged. All right, so that's one part that could get a little hairy. Had I not been able to do that, it's not that big a deal. What I do is I have this wire that I can just, I don't need to tension the core. I can get the sleeve and just continue to rotate it. And it's easier to work with the sleeve than the core. So the next potential hiccup is, you saw the lock retains the key, and we're obviously open here. I'm going to lock the lock back up. And if I'm lucky, I can do that in one fell swoop by just rotating this back and holding these in place. So let's try that. Okay, I was not lucky. That's okay, that just means more fun for us. I'll explain what happened in a second. Let me just get my tensioner out. Okay, so now we're in the unlocked position. Sorry, we're back in the locked position. The shackle's out, but the sleeve is oriented along where the pins are. And so what we need to do to get the tools out is we need to rotate the sleeve to align with the keyway. And we need to pick the pins so that the sleeve can do that. So I'm going to use this wire that I was just showing before. And okay, hold on. Getting stuck. It's not where I wanted to put the wire. Okay, one more time. Okay, I'm going to try to, here, I'm going to pull these out as much as I can. And I'm going to try to get the wire to ride along the sleeve here until I get to the back. Okay, and then I'm going to turn so that the wire is now in the sleeve. Okay, let's get these on a little more centered. Okay, and so that allows me to do is I'm now tensioning counterclockwise, and I'm going to lift the key pins so that they get past the sleeve. I mean, it's not quite as hard as picking a lock in the first place, but it's definitely requires some effort. Okay, short side, and then the good news is there's no, you know, complicated bitting here. It's just max lift essentially. I'm lifting all the key pins. So if I feel a key pin, I want to keep going and try to move it like right there. Okay, and so now I'm able to take all the tools out because the sleeve is now aligned with the keyway once again. And for good measure, I can show you that I didn't break the lock. And you heard that, you could hear the ball bearings actuate. So we're all good. All right, so let's got this lock, and I can explain a little bit about what I'm doing, or what I did. Let's see. So fix the focus first. I'll zoom out a little bit. Get this out of the vise. Oops. Just trying to get a stand up for the camera. Oops. I lost the rubber band because I'm pushing it on the table. I'll explain the rubber bands in a moment. Okay. So that's pretty good. My lighting's a little screwy. Hold on there. Okay. I think that's pretty easy to see. And here, I'll talk about the picks. And let me get a gutting tray though. All right, so picks and lock. And still don't like that lighting. And I need a little bit more room here. It's a big lock. Pretty big padlock. And we got all of our tools in place here. All right. I'll put the picks over to the side. And, well, let me start by saying that the reason for the rubber bands is I've already taken the two bolts out. And that's what holds the lock body in. You know, those are where the two bolts go to the locking mechanism. And the reason I did that, and I use these rubber bands instead, is that this is not my lock. This is, for those of you who might know, it's a pretty rare lock. I think there are only a few hundred of these made. And a member of the community, LeBron, very generously lent me this lock to pick. And, you know, it's a very rare lock. So, and as you saw at the end, in order to adjust the sleeve to be able to extract the tools, you need to actually pick the pins. And so what I was concerned about, and to be clear, these picks really held up well, but if you were to break a pick at that point, I don't know how you would fix the lock at that. So the reason I took these bolts out is so that in the worst case scenario, a tool broke in there, you know, I wouldn't break LeBron's very rare lock. In any event, now that the bolts are out, the rubber bands are off, the best way I've found to gut this is if you just kind of pull up like this on the bottom casing. And the reason I'm doing that is there's the sleeve in there. I do not want to lift that up because then all the pins fall out. And so you can see here, this is the warning. And it's really a coolly designed lock. It's designed so that, you know, the key wraps around these and basically forces it into a rigid loop, you know, C shape that way, which also forces my tools to be rigid C shape, right? So that's what I was doing to pick it. Okay. Anyways, that's one part, and then here, I need to pull this forward. I want to take this lock body out. Okay. And then we'll take, you can see the sleeve is there, and then we have pins on either side. I'm just going to put that down for now. And if you look here, there's a, it's actually, I think it's just a standard driver pin all the way down here. But this is actually just a pin that fixes the rotation, so it doesn't go past that perpendicular point I was showing before. And then not much interesting in the lock body. There are ball bearings in here. I could shake them out. There they are. And then this is all just one big honking solid piece. I'll put to the side. Ball bearings. Okay, and then Let's take a closer look at, well, let me take the pins out first. So this is the short side, this is the long side. So what I'm going to do is slide this off first. I'll be very careful, I don't want to lose these springs. So I'll just hold them with my finger. Okay, so you can see there are the 5 springs on the long side. And we'll take those out. Oops. Just going slow because this is where they can still fly across the room. Okay, and maybe the cleanest way to do this is I'm going to put this back and then pull it out if I can here. Okay. And wiggle it a little. And there are 5 pins. I'll do a close-up in a bit, but we get the key pins. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then for the driver pins, we've got a spool. We've got a serrated. And we've got 1, 2, 3 standard driver pins. Nothing really crazy going on. And then for the short side, same idea. Make sure I don't lose any springs. Oh, that one stuck to my finger. There's number 3. So let's get the other springs out. 1, 2, 4. All right, and that seemed to work pretty well. Let's do the same thing here for the short side. Okay. Okay. So there are the 4 pins in the short side. Key pins. 1, 2. Oops. 3, 4. And then these driver pins are very boring. They're all standard driver pins. So that's what's kind of cool about this lock is, you know, if you were just looking at the pins, it's like it doesn't seem that hard to pick. Just one, you know, sure, 9 pins, but just one spool, one serrated, the rest standard. It's not a difficult lineup, but because of how you need to fashion your picks, it becomes quite challenging. Let me just finish the gutting, then I'll explain a little bit about what I was doing. So I'm going to remove the core from the Bible. Okay, so you can see empty Bible. And the core has a sleeve in it right here. So this is what, you know, starts off with the sleeve aligned with the keyway. Next we, you know, we rotate so that the sleeve is aligned with the key pins, and that's the picking position. And once you're able to pick, you're turning, you know, turning these two together, right? Okay, anyways, that's the sleeve. This is the core, and you can see way back in there is where, here, I'll get the actual tool. What I was doing is I was hooking this piece into that notch in the back, and then I was trying to guide that long piece between all the tools as best I could without interfering, and then this piece up here would kind of rest nicely in the, you know, the groove of the warding up here. That's the idea. You can kind of see how the lock works on the other end. Make sure I got this. So that's the short side. So that's the short side here. So it's like, starts off like this, and then you insert the key and it guides it so that it's aligned with the key pins. And this is where you get your tiny range of motion. And that's what I was using to get at the adjacent pins with the picks. Okay, so that's the lock, but let me just, a note on the tools, because, you know, one thing that I do get concerned about sometimes, especially if I only have one, you know, example of a model of lock, is I want to make sure I'm not overfitting. Usually not an issue when you make one custom tool, but when you make 5 custom tools or 6, you know, then I want to make sure I'm not unconsciously biasing towards the bitting, and so I didn't. This is the long side, and you can see this is the identical profile. So if I align these all up, you can see that the pick tip is exactly the same for all the different tools. And to be doubly sure I wasn't doing anything unconsciously for the bitting, I laser cut these using a third party that doesn't know anything about this lock. And I didn't finish them as much as I wanted to. And you can actually, there's a good comparison here. I have actually, you know, made a full set here. So here's the missing one. I'm just going to wedge into this pack if I can, not get them all tangled. I think I got them tangled. Hold on. Okay, so 1. Okay. There's 3, so I'm missing 2 in between. Okay, there we go. 4. Okay. Oh, what a pain it is to get these all in place, huh? All right, finally. All right, now you can see those are evenly spaced, and each one is between, here's the focus working. There you go. And each one is between the pins. So this pick here is between, can pick both 1 and 2. This can pick 2 and 3, 3 and 4, and 4 and 5. And of course, there's some redundancy there, so that's why I went without this one, you know, when actually picking. But what makes this hard is, in order, you only have a little bit of play, and so in order for each of these picks to reach both adjacent pins, it has to be and to be able to go from 0 lift to max lift for every pin. You need a little. This angle needs to be pretty steep, much steeper than, you know, the cuts on the key. And so what makes this hard to pick then is not only are all the tools knocking into each other and with the tensioner, but you can't hit the pins head on. You have to kind of hit them at an angle, and it's not quite like a diamond. It's not like a flag. It's kind of a mix of those techniques. And when you do that, you're either working against your tension or in the direction of tension, and you have to compensate for that. So that's why this gets trickier than just the pins. And let me show you the short side too. I also made I didn't use the pick, but I also made a redundant pick for the short side, so you can see these tips are also all identical and equally spaced. So, on the short side, this one goes between 1 and 2, 2 and 3, 3 and 4, and I didn't, this one, the middle one was redundant, I didn't use it. That's pretty much it. There you have it. This is the Bowley 543, the dual fork. And thank you to Flebron for lending me this very rare and fun lock. Let me just conclude by zooming in on the pins for you. And again, the only really interesting one there is here. See if I can get the light. They're all standards except for this serrated pin here and this spool.